Hello everyone. New content today, that is note making. Okay, let us see how do we define note making first. Note making is a useful study skill that involves reading, comprehending, and identifying the main or sub points. So, as the topic suggests, note making, as those words suggest, that you need to understand, read first, then understand, and then finally identify the main points and the sub points, so as to you can effectively make notes out of it. Okay, this is quite an important part of the question paper, and I want you people to understand this particular question, how to go about it. Though it is very easy, but then you need to keep in mind some simple things. Okay, so I repeat, note making is a useful study skill that involves reading, comprehending, and identifying the main or sub points. This would be helpful for you even when you move ahead in your college, when you do your degree courses or anything where you have to jot down notes or you have to make notes. You can make the complete content into a very concise form if you know how to form notes, if you know how to make notes. Okay, how to understand and then shorten the huge content into some points, right? So that is it all about. All right, now there are these two formats that we have: bullet and flowchart. Bullet is nothing else but where you use these write in points. Okay, suppose there's a huge paragraph that you have read and you want to jot down the main points that are there in the paragraph. You just write down in points. Okay, as as bullets, as you do that. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6, as many as points you find are important there, you just jot them down. That is a way of making notes. This format is known as bullet format. Another is the flow chart. All right, here in your course you have the flow chart, how to form a diagrammatic representation of a paragraph and make notes. Okay, so that is what is there in your course curriculum this year. So we would be dealing that. Now let's see how it is done. Now here there is a paragraph. I'll just read it out. Drip irrigation system was developed in Israel. This system uses a small amount of water for irrigating crops. It is best suited in the areas that face acute scarcity of water. It was introduced in India in the 1970s. It is widely used by farmers in Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. It is mainly used for coconut, grape, vegetables, and plantation crops. It is estimated that 6.3 lakh hectares of land in India is irrigated under this system. So, first we read the paragraph and then we try to comprehend it, try to understand it. And then comes the third part where we jot down the main points or the sub points. So, let us move on to the next one. Here is the flow chart that I was talking about. The whole paragraph has been now concised in a concise form, has been represented in a diagrammatic form, okay, or as a diagram. So here it is, drip irrigation system uses, first is drip irrigation system developed in, then you have the first blank, uses, second, best suits areas which face acute scarcity of water. It has been mentioned here. Introduced in India in, the third blank comes, widely used in Rajasthan, fourth is a blank, Karnataka, fifth again another blank. Mainly used for, then you have to fill up these three more blanks, 6, 7, 8, and then one is given here, plantation crops. So that is how the flow chart goes. Now just take a look at the answers here. First is Israel, small amount of water, the 1970s, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, coconut, grapes, and it is vegetables. So I want to tell you that you don't have to dig deep into the paragraph or try to look within the lines or things like that, because the answers are very clearly mentioned there. You just need to take a note of it properly, okay? And just do not try and find some answers here and there. The answers are directly mentioned there. They are present over there. The words are present over there. Just understand the paragraph, follow the flow chart properly, what it demands. You have all the clues present over there. You just have to follow that, and the answers are directly mentioned in the paragraph. Just take a note of all these things. Do not get baffled as to where do I find the answers, what do I do. Do not look at the flow chart first before reading the paragraph. Don't do that mistake. Don't commit that mistake, okay? So first read the paragraph, try and understand it, what is it about. Then as soon as you look at the flow chart, you immediately get the answers from the paragraph if you follow the clues mentioned over there. So it is not at all difficult, all right? Now, there are some points to ponder, that some things that you need to keep in mind apart from all that I have told you. Drawing of the flow chart is not a mandate. Not a mandate means it is not compulsory that you have to draw the flow chart, okay? As it is been given in the question paper, it's not necessary that you need to draw it the way it is. Write the answers in a sequence. So you have to write the answers. You need not draw the flow chart. If you want, you can, but as I told you, it's not a mandate, it's not necessary. If you choose to write the answers, please be very careful about the sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There are just 8 blanks, right? So you should follow that sequence properly. That is a mandate, okay? Keep the answers precise, as I have been telling you, that do not write huge sentences because they won't fit anywhere, and you need not write 2 or 3 words because the answers themselves are very directly mentioned over there and simple answers. So you have to keep them as it is, keep them precise. 1 word needed, 1 word. Sometimes if a couple of words needed, you can write a couple of words there, whatever it is. As example, just as I read out that paragraph, small amount of water was the second answer. So there you have to write these 4 words, small amount of water. Sometimes you might have to write this much, but majority of the times you just need to mention a word or 2. Majority of the times just a word. So let the answers be precise. There are 8 blanks, each carrying half mark. So this is again an important point to be noted, that there are 8 blanks, as I told you, 1 to 8, and each blank carries half mark. So in totality, the question carries 4 marks, okay? So this is a 4 mark question. If you understand and if you don't rush through the things, if you just do it properly, nobody can take those 4 marks away from you, all right? So you need to pay attention to that and you can easily score 4 marks for that. Not just the marks, note making is a practice that will help you in your future as well, that you should keep in mind, okay? So this was about it. You have some examples in the book. You can go through the examples there, the exercises there, and solve those. you can send it to us on our WhatsApp numbers, right? So that is all about today's session here. I hope you have understood. Any queries, you know where to reach us at. So that's it. Take care of yourselves. Good day.